Right now, you'll see in a couple weeks. Right now, people are tweeting, "Yeah, Mohr and Caroline Manzo talking politics." Yeah, no thanks.
Two idiots, right? Two fools.
Yeah,
what does she
two
know?
idiots.
Dumb housewife.
We're just human beings talking about what we like, as if we're having a conversation.
And it's all right, just like it's their right. And that's what you want to be nasty on Twitter. If that makes you happy and that makes your day, go ahead.
Do you block people a lot?
I block people only because I know it drives them crazy.
And then they start tweeting like, "I got blocked."
Right, which drives them, they're going crazy. I never get hurt or insulted by anything because I have to take it from where it comes. And I say, you know what, there's something.
That's some other level, Buddhist stuff you're working on. Because I get offended by it. I read it while I'm taking a dump, and I'm like, what?
But if you go down their timeline.
Why am I fat? What do you mean, hairpiece?
But if you go down their timeline, it's not only you they're going after.
Oh, I know. That's the other thing, too.
So then you go, like, you know what? You're miserable, bye. And I'm not going to let you bother me. And if this makes you happy in your life for the 5 seconds, you know what? Go for it. Have a good time. It's not going to change my life.
My new favorite one is whenever I make an appearance, I was on Opie and Anthony, and I was on Imus, and it's like, JJ, the hair, just let it go, bro. And I'm like, it's damn near a crew cut.
Well, I think it's cute.
Well, I know, but it photographs like a hair system.
Maybe so. All right.
But I like let it go. It's like I'm Ken from Beverly Hills Housewives with like REO Speedwagon hair. Like, bro. But anyway, so you do have say when they're in your house and something horrible happens. They are kind. I guess they must be kind. They have to be kind. That's the job of a good producer because they don't want you to tap out emotionally for the season.
It hasn't. I've never really run into anything like that I've said, don't put this on, whatever. There are some, it's a constant battle because they say, the common thread along everybody's, well, you signed up for this and it's your life. And like, gotcha, hear ya, but no. Because there are some things that, listen, there's a huge side of me that the audience doesn't see. I'm always dancing around in my kitchen, singing with the kids, joking around.
Well, you guys are swingers.
Totally. Right.
They don't see the key parties.
They don't see that. They don't see that. That's for me.
The cocaine and the
exactly.
burning the crosses.
Right. And that's a secret, so.
Yeah. We'll take that part out.
But
because we don't want people to know that about the Manzos. They're crazy. They're freaks. Go to Craigslist and personal encounter the Manzos.
That's
you won't
right.
even believe it.
See, that's it. That's where I get my strength from. But the thing is, it's my life, and I will give you what I want to give you. And there are some parts that are reserved. You'll never see me with my husband in bed or anything. That's his. You know what I mean?
But there's a lot of people on those shows, on the Housewife shows, that have no idea how to flex that muscle. Like when we saw Jill Zarin and Bethany fighting for 2 straight years. Can you imagine arguing that loud and vociferously in the streets of Manhattan with your best friend? And there's a camera where he's sitting. Like that's the part that fascinates me. Is like we're eavesdropping in on your life.
Voyeurism. Yeah.
But there's a camera.
Right.
Everyone listening, imagine right now what you're doing. There is a camera 2 feet from your face getting a reaction.
And the microphone is so sensitive that if you're like whispering like that, it hears you.
I like when people have tantrums and they go in the other room so they can't be filmed and then realizing their mics are on.
It's the best. And I'm like, especially when I'm watching a new person in a cast and I'm like, don't go in the bathroom. Don't go in the bathroom because then you're going to go off in the bathroom and you don't know. They're still hearing everything you say, and they'll just subtitle it.
They hear you opening the suitcase.
It's so funny. I'm like, don't go in the bathroom. Don't go in the bathroom. But, you learn by doing it, so we all do. So
you said something earlier that I really liked, that you think that the friends that you've lost, you would have lost anyway.
Right.
And that's almost like everything happens for a reason, taken up a notch. And you have lost friends, and there are people that you don't talk to anymore. Do you think the show expedites getting to that point in the relationship? It's almost like an intervention speeds up an addict's bottom.
It's like life on crack. It happens faster.
Yeah, like an intervention is like, we're going to bring your bottom to you.
Right.
And then with a reality show, it's like, well, that's what it took to show the true colors.
And that's all right. To me, you know what? Good for me. Because it just accelerates what's going to happen. And it's just it's like a boom instead of like a trickle.
I'm fascinated when I read, and again, it's a Twitter-heavy show. That's why I keep mentioning Twitter. We don't really talk about Twitter that much on the podcast, but you just keep seeing Team Giudice and Team Gorga. And when I wrote blogs for Real Housewives of New Jersey, and by the way, for everyone listening,
I loved your blogs.
I did them for free because I thought it was cool and fun, and I thought maybe down the line there'd be a little bit of a little something.
Not something.
Second season, they go, "You're going to do them again, right?" And I go, "Yeah, well, what's the something?" They go, "Oh no, we don't have any money." Yeah. To which I replied, "You're a network. You have a lot of money. That's the two biggest misconceptions in show business. This is the only time it can happen,
Right.
and we don't have any money.
Right.
There's an unlimited well of money, and there's
Welcome
always
to my
time.
world,
Oh
baby.
yeah, well, no, you welcome to my world.
This is true.
You got to meet the director. He's only in town for one day. What, in L.A.? He's directing a movie, and he's in Los Angeles for one day, and then he goes to the showbiz. Hot Springs, Arkansas, the mecca of movies. Like, we're in L.A., we're in Hollywood.
I know.
No, you can only 10 o'clock. That's the only time we can see.
Yeah.
That's all they got,
And
JJ.
he's always rushing out somewhere.
He's got to get back to Arkansas because that's where he's only in town. He's only in the showbiz
You got
town.
an hour, and you got to rush that hour.
For
Get it all
one
in.
day.
Yeah.
When I see like all right, so when I wrote my blogs, I was very hard on Melissa and very hard on Joey Gorga. And then as I watched the next season, I felt like I was watching Teresa Giudice unravel completely.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was watching a person actually maybe go, I'm saying this pragmatically, I'm not throwing dirt and glass houses and stone. I'm saying I felt like I was you can't argue with someone's feelings, says the lady who writes an advice column. I felt like I was watching someone actually go insane in front of me, to the point where I was so glad I didn't write blogs, because it got very personal and very heated. And the last thing you guys needed was a comic chiming in and being snarky every week.
Yeah.
And then people tweeting like, that was so funny what you said about Teresa. Like, no, I think Teresa needed help.
But at the same time, I read your blogs every week. I thought you were hilarious. And once in a while you took a dig at me. But you know what? I get it, because that was your job. And your job is to be funny, and your job is to poke, to find the little bit of something that you could latch onto and make it turn into a joke.
You gave very little material. You really were like a Latin boxer. It was I couldn't land anything clean on you, just because of the way you lived your life. Where like Melissa has the grave diggers coming over to her house, and Joey Gorga's talking about ejaculating. I got to get my poison out. Like, that's just easy.
Yeah. But
And then Teresa dressing the kids up, and they're going to stab each other and like calling the dad a fat troll. And then you, like, the only thing I had on you was like you quit boxing class halfway through.
well, duh. No way. I was gonna throw up. I'm old.
I know, but I mean, like, that was the only.
That's it. How many people quit boxing class halfway through?
But the people at the time were saying, like, why do you take it so easy on Caroline? And you run out of avenues to express how you feel on the internet, especially. Like, if you want to spend all day in a message board, then you're just like the people calling you an idiot. So I could go back and write a follow-up blog and go, Caroline doesn't really act like an absolute maniac in public. It's kind of hard to make fun of somebody that's making dinner for 6 people all the time.
Well, it's funny because Andy gets a lot of flack, because whenever I'm on Watch What Happens Live, I never have to plead the fifth. And people are like, make her plead the fifth, Andy. And Andy said to me, how am I going to make you plead the fifth? You've been through 4 reunion shows. You plead the fifth
You
for
never
12
play the
hours.
game, plead
Yeah,
the fifth?
Yeah.
He doesn't make you play the game?
No. He says 12 hours worth of taping on a reunion show 4 times already. So, he goes, there's nothing that I haven't hit you with that you haven't answered.
Right.
So for me, pleading the fifth is like a moot point, because I'm really like, go ahead, go for it.
My game last time I was on is I had to do an impression of as many housewives as possible for Kyle Richards, who was fun and great, and her husband was cool. And when I came to you, I just went, we're thick as thieves. And she goes, Caroline Manzo. It was an easy one.
She's a lot of fun.
Who changed the most? Because you and I have already stated that we don't change, the people around us change. But now, I guess the dichotomy of the argument is now I am asking you, because I've seen people change. So I guess that argument, I'm realizing, being self-aware, is maybe I'm full of shit. Because I just said, we don't change.
No, it's
The
not
people
me.
around us
Right.
change. But then I'm watching TV and I'm like, well, from season to season, from each town, I can see who's changed. So maybe I got to go back and rework the wiring on that logic.
I am not answering that question.
What do you mean you're not answering that question?
Who's changed? In my cast, who's changed the most?
Who's changed the most?
Who has changed the most? Out of the housewives, or could I go cast wide?
What do you mean cast wide?
Kids.
Well, I can't do anything about kids.
Okay.
I mean, me personally,
Right.
so I won't.
All right.
You can do it, but I'm not gonna do a kid discussion.
All right. Who changed the most out of the housewives? I'm going to say Jacqueline.
I never would have thought that was gonna be your answer.
Yeah. I'm going to say Jacqueline, because Jacqueline finally found her voice. Season 4.
Oh, so she changed for.
The better.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Positive spin.
Yep.
Am I wrong in thinking that Teresa went crazy?
See, I'm in it. there's so much that I know that you guys don't. There's so much
But when
that
you're
I
on
see.
the reunion show,
Right.
it's 4 people and Teresa. And
That ain't my problem. That's not the way it's supposed to happen. That's just what it is. though.
Right. And I'm
Right.
saying they should, I even said to Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live, they should have renamed the reunion Teresa Versus.
I tried. Didn't I try this past
I've
reunion?
never seen you yell at anybody.
Yeah.
Ever.
Right.
And she made you so bananas that
Right.
you were screaming.
Well, she was talking about my Nick, first of all, and she was saying that, she reached out to Nick and don't go there with that kid. You didn't. No, you didn't. And I apologize because I just like dropping F-bombs every 5 seconds, which is that
made the whole show.
Listen,
that made it a great
I
reunion
have
show.
a potty mouth.
Manzo went nuts.
I have a potty mouth, but I never show it on TV because I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right. A lot of young kids watch it, and I don't think it's a good way to behave.
Well, they bleep it. They hear their parents do
But
it.
it's
It's better
still-
they hear it from you.
But listen. I always say there's a line.
If you don't learn the birds and the bees from a reality star, then
There's
there's
a
something
line
wrong.
in my book that says I'd rather my kids drop an F-bomb than go upstairs and do heroin in their rooms. So my kids were always allowed F this, F that, but they couldn't say it to their grandmother. You know what I mean?
What's your book called?
Let me tell you something.
And when does it come out? Do you know?
It comes out in March.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then any pre-orders right now yet?
Pre-sale on Amazon.
Oh, so you can go, jmohr.com, hit the Amazon banner.
Bam.
Look at that. It all syncs up. So you're not in the season at the moment thinking, oh my God, Teresa has gone batshit crazy.
I'm just trying to deal. I'm just trying to get through the day.
But if you're
Yeah.
trying to deal, are you trying to deal? And yes, I'm leading you
Right, go
purposely
ahead,
down
yeah.
this, and you can just dodge out of it
No,
if
no,
you
I'm not
wish,
afraid,
but
go
I'm going
ahead.
to stay on you. I know you're not
Yeah,
afraid.
go ahead.
You say you're just trying to deal, but
Right.
what are you trying to? Are you trying to deal because you're going, I can't believe this person's behaving this way?
I'm trying to deal with I got to get through this friggin' day without going crazy myself.
But what's making you crazy?
What's making me crazy? What you watch, you see, it's just, you know what it is?
I'm not asking what I want. You said there's so
The
much that we don't
arguments.
see.
I just like the constant arguments and the one-upmanship and trying to think, it's just
Do
like.
you think the cameras bring that out of these people, or would these people be in Willowbrook Mall arguing with strangers at Sephora?
The cameras definitely bring it out.
Is it because they feel, and I'm going step by step,
Right.
do you think it's sociological, I suppose, do you think it's because with the cameras on, they feel the need to one-up to look better? Does that appeal to their vanity, that I need
Absolutely.
to look better and I can't let someone have the last word?
Right.
Like Dr. Phil says, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
Right.
It seems like on all these shows, I want to be right.
I think it's like,
Way more than I want to be happy.
I need to have that moment. I need to have that moment that everybody's going to talk about. I need to have that tagline, so
So people are conscious of making good television while they're filming a reality show, even though
Some.
you get lost in it.
Some.
Specific people do.
yeah.
Not
some.
you.
Listen, I walk into the reunion, I walk into a shoot, and I don't know what I'm going to say or what I'm going to do because I don't overthink it, because I will tell you this, the camera does not lie. It's going to get you.
And that's what Andy said in his
Yeah.
book, to his credit. He said, if people think Omarosa's a bitch, guess what?
She's a bitch.
That's what we filmed for
Right.
85 hours.
Right.
And that's what it's not like, here's some isolated incident where this person said something ridiculous. They say a lot of ridiculous things and you edit the personality to match the
Right.
show, not the other way around.
Right.
I think that's a very important point, though, Caroline, that
Yeah.
people need to know. These shows, and I've sat here with Andy, and I speak to you, and I know the Magical Elves. They did Last Comic Standing, the producers, the executive producers of your show. You cannot create a human being that isn't there.
Right.
You can't make Teresa like this mellow fellow.
Right.
Because Teresa is all up in it. And
Right.
Melissa and her get after it. And what broke my heart this year was that this family, Teresa and her brother, don't talk. And somehow, first of all, Melissa Gorga turned into like Alicia Keys. She was white when she started the show. And when I was watching the reunion show, I was like,
Summer. It's summer. They're beach,
Summer?
They're beach babies.
Where,
They
at
live
Mercury?
they live on the beach. They live on the beach. They're beach babies. They're gonna be raisins when they're
she
like
got the Sade
70.
forehead,
Yeah.
the sparkly glow eyeshadow.
She's got a look to her. I gotta hand it to her.
But I feel like I want to go back and do, I can't apologize for the blocks because that's what was happening. Watch What Happens Live. That's what was happening then.
Right.
But then I really thought it was like watching, like Betty Davis in, Baby Jane. I was watching Teresa, and I touched on that in the blogs in the first season I was doing the blogs. It's really weird. And
It is.
Like, okay, specifically, Jack, and I'm not asking you to speak about, I know it's your family, but if you want to, sure. But like when Jacqueline finds out, well, they talked about it on the reunion show, but when Jacqueline finds out her son is autistic,
Right.
there's cameras
Perfect example.
When you find out your son is autistic,
Bravo
I don't
was
want
great
that on
about
TV.
it. Bravo was great about it. We did not have the diagnosis. It took